And after you leave a like, remember to smash the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to my channel as yet. And remember to hit the notification bell so every time I post a video you can know right away. Subscribe, 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 subscribe. What's up, my YouTube friends, viewers, subscribers, everybody? Welcome back to another banger motivational video. Let's get it. Forget the past. There's nothing you can do about it to change it. You can't change the past. So I don't care how dark it was. I don't care how bad somebody hurt you. I don't care how cold it was. I don't care where you come from. I don't care how it's been. I don't care how rough you had it. I don't care about none of that. Nobody care about where you're from. Nobody care about your past. Nobody care about what happened to you. Forget about it. There's nothing you can do. So you're spending all your present moment living in the past that you can't change. You're beating up yourself about something that you can't change. I don't care what you did to yourself. I don't care what somebody did to you. You can't change the past. You can't change the past. So before I jump into this video, I'm going to leave you guys with a saying that I always say. The past isn't there to remind you that the future can change. The past is to remind you of where you're from in order for you to want a better future. So with that being said, it doesn't matter where you're from. It's depending on where you intend on going. Because a lot of people have, oh, my past was so dark and cold. Okay, so in the present moment, what are you doing about it? Absolutely nothing. You can't change what happened last month. You can't change what happened last year. You can't change what happened last 3 years. You can't change what happened last 5 years. You can't change what happened last 10 years. There's nothing you can do. You can't even change what you did 1 minute ago. If you did something 1 minute ago that's unchangeable, you can't do it. If you send a risky text to someone that you like, you can't change. As long as you hit send, you can no longer change that. So even if you delete it, it will show to the other person that you deleted. So some stuff you do, you can't change it. You have to live with it. So if you're from a dark past, yeah, you got a dark past, why are you using your present moment to live less and live like a crackhead? I would think people that have a dark past would get up every day and say, you know what? I'm from here, but I intend on changing my life and I'm heading in that direction where the light is. Nobody care about your past. Nobody care what happened to you. And in fact, nobody even know. Most times people that are like, say, not say happy, but average, you won't know where they've been without they even saying it to you. How much counselor and therapist you go to that probably had divorced 2 times before you showed up there, but they're not going to say it to you. But you're paying your money for them to give you advice for your relationship? Come on. Nobody care about your past. So stop living in the past. You can't change it. You can't change it. And I have another saying. You can't change the past, but you can change the future with the present moment that you got, which means whatever decision you make right now determine your future tomorrow. You can't change what you did yesterday. That's why every day you wake up, it's another opportunity for you to make better decisions in order to make your life better for yourself. So you have been broke, you have been homeless, nobody care about you. Okay, how about you find a way to get some money, or not say homeless, because if you're homeless, it's gonna be hard for you to get a job. But let's say you have been broke and you ain't got no money. How about you go get a job and fix that problem? Whatever you did to yourself in your past or somebody did to you, that was fully in your control because you were there. Something can't happen to you unless you were there and you let it happen to you. So whether you've been through a bad relationship or a bad friendship or gangs and all that kind of stuff, you were there. You did that to yourself. And you're holding on to it. That's why you can't move forward. Let me tell you something. The more you hold on to something you can't control is the more you have yourself not moving forward. No, more you affect yourself from not moving forward. Sorry. So you can only hold on to a certain thing. So if you're holding on to something that happened long time ago, you can't move forward because you're using all your time and energy to hold on to something that you can't control. So you have to learn to let go of the past. Yes, it's happened to you. You have to heal and you have to move on. That's the world where we live in. You have to learn to let things go. If you're a person that you can't let stuff go, like you're not that type of person where you can forgive the situation and let it go, You're gonna have a rough future. You know why? Because you're still holding on to stuff that happened for a long time ago. And then as time progresses, you're still holding on to the same things. That's why you're getting absolutely nowhere. You ever sit down and wonder why every time you're trying to do something, you get nowhere? That's because you're holding on to something else. You invest your time into something else. But you're blaming everyone and everybody else for what you did to yourself. Let me say it one more time. Whatever you've been through in your past, it's all because of you. You put yourself there. That's why that happened to you. I don't care what it was. It could be good and it could be bad. But the past isn't all about being bad. The past, some people have good past too. But if yours is full of darkness and a bunch of bullshit, that's because of you. You did that to yourself. You have to learn to let go and move on. You can't move on if you don't let go of the past. You can't change it. You can't change it. I don't know why people tend to hold on to something that they can't control. Nothing aggravates me more than worrying about something that I can't control. Stuff that I can't control, I don't worry about it. Like, number one, people, you can't control people, so it makes no sense for you to try to control them and worry about the decisions that they make. You can't control them. So I would advise you, I would strongly advise you, whatever past you got, let it go and move on, whether it's good or bad. You have to learn to let go and you have to learn to move on. Those things come in stages. The more you hold on to other stuff is the more it affects your future. That's why you seem like you're not getting nowhere. That's why it seems as if no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to evolve. Because subconsciously you're holding on to stuff without even knowing. Some stuff you gotta let it go. Oh, I've been in a bad relationship when I was younger, so I'm not gonna go date nobody. Who you think you're hurting? Or if I date somebody, I'm going to demand this and I'm going to demand that. Who you think you're hurting? Nobody's going to want you. Oh, I had a bad experience in school with a friend, so I don't want no friend anymore. Who you think you're hurting? You're hurting nobody but yourself. Oh, I don't want to go get a job because the last job I got, the people there didn't like me. So you rather be broke? So who you think you're hurting? Let me say this to you. Most times, people hurt their own feelings by expecting way too much from others. So you may sit down and you may think in your brain that, oh, I mean this to this company. Oh, this company can't do nothing without me. When they let you go, that's when you feel it. So it doesn't matter how you are as a person, they will let you go. So it doesn't really matter how quick you learn things or your skills, or if you're better than everybody else working there. The moment you mess up, they're letting you go. They're letting you go. So never think you're an asset to a company. Let me tell you something about companies. In every workplace, we're basically pawns in order to get the job done. Pieces to get the job done. Because notice, they only need, say, 50 people to get the job done. Or 50 people to get the job going. So if, say, 5 resign or 5 quit, that's 45. So now they have to hunt for the next best 5 they can find, which in fact they have, say, 20, 30 people dropping off applications, filling out applications daily, dropping off resumes daily, but they're going to choose the best. So out of 50 people in a week that drop off their resume, they only need 5. So they're going to pick 5 because they only need 50. They're not going to get 51. They don't need 51. So if you think you're an asset to a job, you're mistaken. You're just pieces. You can resign at any day and they will find somebody else to fill your spot. That's just how the world is. So if you ever got fired from a job, or you ever had you're treated unfairly at a job, that's just how life is. So if you've been treated a certain way at a job and you quit or you got fired, you're telling me you're not gonna try to go get another job? It's like, oh, I got fired from this job and the people there, they didn't like me, so now I'm homeless and broke. Who you think you're hurting? Who you think is gonna be at the intersection begging for money? For sure not the people that fired you. That's gonna be you there begging money. So stuff like that, when you can't change your past and you're trying to live in the past, all you're doing is hurting yourself over and over and over and over and over again. You may sit down and think you're hurting somebody else, but you're only hurting yourself. Life is about taking chances and making risk. So it doesn't care what happened in your past, whether you've been in a bad relationship, your girlfriend cheat on you, your boyfriend cheat on you. So now you're gonna raise your value. Oh, I'm not gonna go date this type of person. Nobody care about what happened to you. And the next person you meet have nothing to do with your past. They're not gonna sit down and listen to all your nonsense. It has nothing to do with them. This is why this world is like this, because a lot of people do stuff to themselves, and then they don't want to blame the past or whoever betrayed them in the past. They rather blame people that have nothing to do with it, if that makes sense. You can't run away from the past. You can't run away from who you are. So whatever you did to yourself, you can't run away from it. A lot of people tend to think, oh, if I do this and I mess up my whole life, I'd rather run away and start all over. There's nothing wrong with starting over. Well, the problem is, you're not trying to start over. You're trying to start a life that where nobody know you. So with that being said, you can't run away from who you are. You can't run away from what you did. But a lot of people always want to run away. But guess what? When they run away, they're bringing all the problems with them. So you can't run away from who you are. It doesn't really matter what you did. You can't change it. You can't run away. So if you're that type of person that you think, oh, I did this in high school and I grew up and people didn't like me and now I'm going to move to a different city. You only want to move to a different city because nobody know you. Nobody know your history. Nobody know nothing about you. So you rather go sit down and pretend to be somebody that you're not. And the more you try to make friends and the more they get to know you, the more they're going to understand. And the more they're going to see that you mess your whole life up, and then all of a sudden you run away, and then you're trying to pretend to be somebody. Like, I've seen people do that over and over and over and over and over again. Because all they want to do, they want to go somewhere where nobody don't know them and pretend to be somebody else that they're not. They pretend, oh, I'm a high value person. I'm going to act like I know everything. I'm not going to act like I don't know nothing. But let me tell you something about human nature. The more you are around somebody, is the more you understand them, the more you can see what they're strong at and what they're weak at. With that being said, have you ever see someone out in public or at the club or at the bar or anywhere at all? You see them and you're like, oh, this person looks cool, and then when you really get to know them, you found out that they're stupid, they're bums, they don't know nothing. You never meet those kind of people before, or you're like quiet, always observing. And then, no, sorry, I'm saying that backwards. Or you're seeing somebody, they never speak lots. They always seem quiet, they always seem distant. And when you get to know them, you notice that they're one of the realest people you'll ever meet. You never had that happen to you before? That's just how it is. So it's human nature. The longer you spend around somebody, that's called bonding. So the more you talk to somebody, the more time you spend with them, is the more you'll get to know them. So with that being said, whether you have a good past where, oh, I had a lot of money in the past, but now I'm broke. You can't change having a lot of money from being in the present moment. So if you had a lot of money and then you're bankruptcy and now your present time is, say, you're broke. You had a lot of money back in the past. I'm not saying the past is all about negative, because people have stuff back in the past and they lose stuff, and in the present moment they don't got nothing. So you're telling me you had a business, then somebody messed it up, then your bankruptcy, okay? Then after bankruptcy, the present moment will be you losing everything and trying to start all over again. So you're telling me that your present moment is affecting your future? Your future is tomorrow, or your future is 1 minute from now. Something that you don't know it's coming. That's your future. Your past is 1 minute ago. And your future, I would say maybe even 1 second ago, because whatever I say, I can't take it back. So if you go out to somebody and you say something to them that hurt their feelings, you can't take it back. So that's now in the past. Your future is 1 second ahead, because you can't tell what will happen. You can't read the future. So with that being said, you're telling me that you were very successful back in the day, and now your present moment you're broke, and your past that you got a lot of money and lose everything determines your future? You're not even hungry enough to say, you know what? I had all my stuff together, and because of somebody else, I lost everything. I had it before. Let me see if I can get it again. That didn't cross your mind not once. All that crossed your mind was, I had it, I lost it, and now I'm like this. What? Or I'm from a dark past where I had a rough relationship, and now I don't want nobody to do this and do like what? Bro, listen to me. Your past is unchangeable. So whether it was good or it's bad, because it could be bad, and then you use your present moment to make it better. And it could be really awesome where you're successful and your present moment is like a shit show. But you don't control what happened there. You were there, but all that happened, you can't control it. And especially, like I said, people, you don't control what people will do. You don't control that. So if somebody ever betrayed you or treated you unfair back in the day, now you don't control it. The best thing you got to do is let it go and look towards the future. It's going to be hard for you to look towards the future if all you do is looking behind you. And you know what? There's no finish line behind you. There is absolutely none. You ever see somebody racing and everyone's running forward and they're running backwards? You never see that. Everyone's running forward. So why are you the one looking at what happened 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, how much long? You can't change that. And this is why a lot of people are depressed or their life is so sad. Just looking at some people, their life is sad. Because, oh, this happened. Okay, what are you doing about it? Nothing. Who you think you're hurting? Like, people literally think they're hurting somebody when they bring themselves a certain way. If you bring yourself less as how you're supposed to be, who you think you're hurting? If you had a job and you lost the job and you refuse to go get another job to better yourself, who you think you're hurting? If you got bills and you lost a job and now everywhere is taking all your stuff away because you can no longer afford to pay it, sorry. Who you think you're hurting when you don't want to go get a job? You think you're hurting the company? When you go buy a brand new car and then you lost your job, then you can't afford the car and the bank is busting your door down and they want the car back because they're calling you trying to find out what's happening because they don't receive any payment from you. And then 2-3 months back to back, no call, and then they show up at your door with the cops. Who you think you're hurting? You think you're hurting them? You think you're hurting the bank? Come on, bro. We live in a world where people hurt their own feelings and then complain about it. That's how I see it. I've seen people do things to themselves and then sit down and complain about it and then trying to act like it was somebody else. I've seen it over and over and over and over and over again. How much time has somebody put themselves in a situation, then they come to you and then they vent to you and they tell you all the problems, and then you sit down and you're like, well, if you never did this, this would never happen. Or somebody come to you and they're like, you know what? This happened in my relationship, or this happened in my friendship, or this happened at work. You ever had somebody vent to you before and then you found out that they're the problem? That if they had controlled themselves better, it wouldn't have escalated? You never had that happen to you before? Bro, the amount of things, I'm not even 30 yet. And the amount of things I've experienced, I've literally sit down and look at things go by most of the time. And people do stuff now, then tomorrow they complain about it. Like, with that being said, everybody have that one coworker that complain about money, but they don't want to work. They always late. They sometimes don't even show up. But when it's time for payday, they're complaining, oh, I ain't got no money. So they short their own, especially back in the day. So people will literally not show up to work, knowing full well they're not getting paid. Then on payday, no money. Then they're complaining. Then why didn't you show up? And then they start blaming everybody else. Oh, they don't give me no hours, or they do. No. You did that to yourself. Let me tell you how a company is run. The ones that always showing up is the ones that get more hours. The ones that try harder and try to make it seem like they give a damn about the business, those are the ones that are recognized. So if you show up, say 10-15 minutes late every day, you don't think the owner is looking at you? You don't think the manager is looking at you? You don't think the supervisor is looking at you? Everyone's seeing what you're doing. No one's probably saying anything. Maybe they're waiting for you to just go away on your own, or they're waiting until they can't take any more of your nonsense. I was about to say bullshit, of your nonsense, then they just let you go. But that's how it is. Everybody see what you're doing. So you do that to yourself and not show up poor attendance, then you're complaining about money. What were you doing while you were not showing up? And then when you get your paycheck, oh, I ain't got no money, or these people don't like me. No. You do that to yourself. I've seen people do a lot of stuff to themselves and then literally complain about it and point fingers at everything and everybody else. You can't change the past. The only thing you can do is try to change your future with the present moment that you got. This is why you got past, present, and future. Because what happened, you can't change what happened. What's already gone, you can't change it. That's why in this moment, you can predict tomorrow. Because let me tell you something. The decisions you make today will affect your future tomorrow. I always say this over and over and over again. Even when I was younger, I used to say it. Whatever decision, I used to say, careful of the decisions that you make today, because it will affect your future tomorrow. So all the decisions you make today, when tomorrow comes, today will now be the past. So if you decided, oh, I'm not going to go to work, I'm going to go do drugs, I'm going to go smoke, the next day, all that decision that you made, that's now yesterday, that's now your past. Can't change that. And some decisions that you make affect you for a lifetime. A lot of people don't know this. They don't. Because they think, oh, I live in a fairy world, I can do whatever I want, I can enjoy my life. But when you wake up the next day, yeah, that's how it is. Some decisions you make really change your life for a lifetime. I'm telling you. That's why a lot of people complain about stuff, because they have to live with it for the rest of their life. Like, especially, like, say, kids. You go mess around, then you got a kid, you live with that kid for a lifetime. Especially if that other parent is not there, whether a guy or a girl, because I'm not singling out, say, women. Because sometimes even guys are the same thing. Sometimes guys want kids, and the female don't, and the female get pregnant, and she get the kid, and then she want to give the guy. She's not ready to be a mom. And the same way it goes around. But some stuff you live with it for a lifetime. Let's say you had a lot of money and you want to invest it, and you got scammed, or somebody stole all your money. You live with that for a lifetime. Some decisions you can't change. That's why you got to be careful with what you do today. You have to be extremely careful. And some opportunities, like people always say opportunities comes by every day. But me, I say some opportunities come by once in a lifetime. Trust, like opportunities do come every day. Like small opportunities come by every day. 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 times a day. But the major life-changing one, some of those ones come by once in a lifetime. Sometimes you meet people that treat you a certain way, that you feel like you're being loved, appreciated, and recognized, and you mess that up, you lost that for a lifetime. Some people spend the rest of their life searching for things that somebody else showed them from a long time ago. I'm telling you, this is the world that we live in. So you got to be careful. You can't change the past. You have to be careful with what you do now. Because coming tomorrow, you have no idea what's going to happen to you. So in this moment, I would advise you keep your eyes open and keep your ears open, and be careful how you make decisions. Because no one is going to be affected tomorrow more than you. And the past, you need to let it go. You can't change it. If you keep holding on to it, you can't move forward. You're sitting down beating yourself up, wondering why it's so hard for you to move forward. That's because you're using most of your energy to hold on to something you can't control. If you can't control it, it makes no sense to worry about it. Let it go, forgive it, and move on. That's just how it is. That's life. So I hope this message was useful for some of you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned. I will be back doing more stuff. You go enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out. And don't forget to follow me on social media. I post daily on them.